Hello, I wanted to welcome you to the Math 1000 online course. I want to show you how to enroll in the course into my math lab and just give you a quick tour around the course. So you're first going to go to mymathlab.com and you will need to register. So if you're a student, and you are a student, you're going to click on Student. You will enter the course ID. This will be sent to your MTSU email address. So make sure you check your MTSU email address and put the course ID in. I can't go any further than this, but once you put this in, you will be prompted for an access code. You have two options. You can either purchase a book that comes with an access code. And again, in the introductory email you'll be sent, there will be an ISBN number and the title of the book. Make sure that if you get it, if it happens to be used, that it comes with a My Math Lab access code. Okay, so if you get it online anywhere, make sure it has the My Math Lab access code. So that's option one. Option two is if you don't feel you need a book, a physical copy of the book, the whole ebook is actually online. You can buy an access code on mymathlab.com. So once you put the course ID in, the next step will prompt you to buy the access code. I want to strongly recommend against using the trial access code, the option that'll be there, unless you really need it. It only gives you maybe 2 weeks to have access to the course, but after that there's nothing the instructor can do to allow you to continue in the course. It's also a little difficult for the instructors to know who has the trial access code, and so we won't really know that. To remind you, we may send out a blanket reminder, but make sure that you do your best to get the access code day one or day whenever you get the email. Okay, once you get your access code, you get signed in, click on Sign In, and you will see a list of your courses. Now you probably won't have more than one. If you're repeating the course, you may see a couple of them down here. Let me just click on one of these. This is one that was taught in the fall of 2011. It should be very similar if you're taking this course in a subsequent semester. Okay, so we have, this is the dashboard view here. Once these assignments come due, you will see little icons here on your calendar on what's due. And here's some old assignments that I have posted here. You can click on Syllabus, and I strongly recommend that you click on the syllabus and the outline and print these out so you can read through them. You'll need to read through these a little more carefully than you would an on-ground class, because the teacher's it's a little bit more difficult for the teacher to go through every aspect of this. So click on the syllabus, print it out, and read through all the policies, please. Same on the outline. So I can show you one part of the syllabus that should remain constant no matter who your instructor is, and that is the workflow of the course. So the workflow of the course is this. You're going to watch video lectures. So you're going to watch the video lectures, and you won't get to necessarily see the instructor. There are some videos that you can see the instructor, but most of them are just watching screen recordings of the videos. They're relatively short. Take notes while you're watching them. I'll show you in a minute that you can print off some PowerPoint notes or just some lecture example notes where it gives you the problem and allows you space to write stuff in. If you prefer, just use your own paper. But it is crucial that you write down whatever the professor writes down at the very least. You also will probably need to make notes as the professor is talking, so make sure you do this. So watch the video lecture. You will notice a password. Hopefully a password will show up within the video. So you'll need to write that password down. Okay, I went ahead and blew it up a little bit for us, make it a little bit easier for me to navigate. And also, this is sort of a generic video, so if your instructor may tweak these policies just slightly. So make sure that you read through your policies. This is sort of just a generic overview. So you watch the video. Kind of like the go in the class part, right? And just to make sure that the instructor knows that you're watching the videos, there will be a video lecture quiz, and all the quiz is asking, it'll say, what was the answer to example 7, for instance? And you'll just type that in. and you cannot move on to the homework until that's done. So the third step is to do the online homework. You have to meet a certain threshold. At this recording, that threshold is set at 50%. So you cannot move on until you get at least a 50% on that homework. This is where a lot of the learning is going to take place, is you doing this homework. Let's go back to the next step. So you're going to repeat this step. About every 2 or 3 sections, you'll see an online quiz. And there are no help aids on that. So on the online homework, you'll have a help me solve this, a view an example, and I'll show you an example of what that looks like. On the quiz, there are none. So you'll take that quiz, usually between 6 to 12 problems, and you'll get multiple times to take this, but not infinite typically. If you don't do well on a quiz, hit the study plan. So the study plan will generate problems for you to do based on what you missed and got right on your quizzes and practice test. So again, you repeat this process until you reach the test. A practice test is mandatory before taking the test. So you have to get, at this recording, at least a 50%. This may be changed by the time you're reading this, so make sure you look into these. This could be set as 60 or 70%. I mean, you ought to do it until you get the grade you actually want to get on the test. Hopefully you don't want to get a 50 on the test. So set your sights high. It kills the instructors that teach this course who they see a student get a 55 on the practice test, like they made it through that barrier. They take the test, and of course, they get about a 55 because the practice test and test are very similar to each other. So take the practice test multiple times. Leave yourself not. A lot of students try to do this right before they take the test, like an hour before. Don't do that. You may need a couple days. Again, if you don't do well on the practice test, hit the study plan. It'll generate problems for you to do based on what you've missed, and then do the practice test again. You basically take the practice test until you get the grade you want on the test, then take the test. And as of this recording, you get to take the online test 2 times. And we'll see some things based on your course's syllabus. Some of the tests are online, and some of them will be proctored or supervised. So beyond that, I don't want to get into the individual policies because different instructors will have slightly different policies. But that's a general overview, I think, whomever the instructor is, of how you're going to proceed through the course. And let me show you what the course looks like. So click on videos. This video may appear in the introductory video. There's one right there. Not this one because I'm making this one right now. A little recursive problem there. So here's our first assignment. Let me go to the second assignment so you can see more of what's going on. So here's chapter 2. And what I would do if I were taking this course is open up either the PowerPoint notes or the video lecture examples for any of these sections. So let's start with 2.2, for instance. So I can open up PowerPoint notes for 2.2, and here they are. Print those out. It's 7 pages. Gives you some the procedures for solving equations. Gives you some examples of how to go through these. But notice the examples are not filled out. So that's for you to fill out either on these dotted lines or within the problem itself. Okay. Or if you don't like those, you can click on the video lecture examples. Probably no need to do both of these. Generally, these do not have a lot of the steps. Here, this is such an important concept that I put the steps here. But it's usually fewer pages, so about half as many pages. I try to, hopefully there's enough room for you to write these down. If not, you can always use your own paper, trying to make it easy for students to take notes through these. And again, write that password down. Now, on some of the lessons, there are actually some live videos, so you can click within these, and it'll pop up in YouTube. I'm not going to click it because it's hard to record a video like this, but and you can see an actual human working through many of these same types of problems. So once you watch the video, you'll write down the password, and then you'll take the password-protected quiz. So click over here on Quizzes and Test. Okay. So let's do, for instance, I can do 2.1 or 2.2. I'm an instructor, so I can kind of bypass that, and I can put in the password. Whatever that password was, I'll type it in. I don't know what it was for this section, but you would type it in, press OK, and then it would simply ask you a question. What was the answer to example 3? You answer that and move on. Some of the questions in the first one want some feedback on the videos. This is only for the first few lessons, I think, chapter 1 and 2. And then you're ready to do the homework. So to do homework, click on homework. And you can do the homework for that section. Again, I can bypass this. It says here you must submit video lecture 2.2. I didn't do that because I didn't watch the video for the password. Okay, and you see 2.2's got 27 problems. I'll just click the second one here. Okay, so for the homework, raise this up a little bit. So here's question 2, solve and check, 9x plus 7 equals negative 182. And we're supposed to answer either x equals, and you fill in a number here, or it's all real numbers, or there's no solution. Now let's suppose you didn't know how to do this, and we thought it was 45. I'd actually clicked on the wrong thing. I clicked on just review. I wanted to show you when you first go in, because my due dates are past, it may look a little different. So let's say we think the answer is 56. I can click check answer. It's not correct, but it gives you a kind of a hint on what it is. And maybe you think it's 34. Not correct. But just say we still think it's 34. And then it'll give you the correct answer, and he'll say here what the answer is. And you'll see a red X here. So what you need to do to get rid of that red X, you should have hundreds on every homework. You can click similar exercise. Now suppose you were really lost on how to do this. We can come over here and you can click view an example. And it'll give you an example of a problem very similar to this problem. Not the exact problem, but you got to admit that's pretty close. And it says get the 10x term alone on one side of the equation, subtract 7 from both sides. Click continue. And it shows that operation. Now we're going to divide through by the 10. And you may think, I remember how to do that now, or I remember from the video, that's how you do that. And then we can do this. So we would subtract 8 from both sides, that's a negative 108, divided by 9 is negative 12. Gives me well done. I got that red X removed into a green check. So you can do these homework problems until you get the answers right. If you're really lost on one, try these resources first. Try the Help Me Solve This, view an example. If there's an animation, it'll pull up in the textbook. Once you've exhausted your resources, then click Ask My Instructor. Don't click that the first thing if you can't figure it out in 5 seconds. Use some of these resources to help you become an independent learner. But you can click Ask My Instructor, and your instructor will be emailed that question, and you need to try to do your best on putting what you don't understand about it. Don't put, I'm lost. Try to put, I get this is what I'm doing, here's what the correct answer is, things like that. And we'll be emailed that problem. And we can respond, the better your question, the better our response will be to your question. Okay, once we're done, we can click save, and it'll save. So I did 1 like this last semester and did 2 this semester. Okay, so you can click, once you do the homework, you'll repeat this until, let me go ahead and click on homework quizzes and test. I'll click on show all here. And notice every so often we have an online quiz appear. So let me go to the very beginning here. Okay, so here we start off with 1.8, do 1.8, 2.1, 2.2, and then here's an online quiz. So we would do this online quiz. Now, apparently I've already done it in a previous exercise. Let's see if it'll let me do it here. Looks like it's not going to let me drill into that, but you will be able to. I'm past the due date, so it's not letting me get in. But you click on the online quiz. In the online quiz, you'll have multiple attempts, but you have to do like 8 to 10 problems all in one setting. And then you'll come upon a test. So let's see if I can find, here's our first test. So before you take the test, you need to get that practice test done. And the threshold set for that practice test may be different from instructor to instructor. So make sure you read the syllabus and see what that is. And then once you get the grade you want on the practice test, take the test. And then once you get the grade, hopefully you do well on the test, then move on to the next section. There are some other aids here. I'm going to quickly go through the study plan. Click on study plan. Again, this will generate problems to do based on what you've missed. So if you're sitting here in chapter 2, 2.1, the problem is I haven't done anything, so it's not going to really show me much. But you should be able to drill in and see what you need to have done. So it's going to give me a bunch of problems like this 2.17 on solving equations. So I've got a handful of problems here that I can work through, a bunch of them. Students that do well in this course end up spending lots of time in the study plan. We've had students spend over 100 hours here practicing problems. They don't count for any grade. This is how you get better at math at this level, is by practicing working these problems. Studying math guide. There's a math guide here. I recommend reading through it, written by one of our professors here, Dr. Otts. Chapter content, this is where the ebook is. So if we're going to start here like in 1.8, for instance, you can drill into 1.8. You can watch the multimedia eText, view it. You can watch a video presentation. This is a textbook video presentation. This is not one done by one of the instructors here at MTSU. But they are effective, and you may want to make those one of your resources. So we'll click here on the text just so you can see what the book looks like. Now, many of you would really benefit from having a physical copy of the book that you can dog ear, you can write in. It's a little bit more difficult with the eText. It just depends on your comfortableness with electronic books. Okay, so here's the ebook, exactly the same as the actual book as far as content. You can scroll through. You can highlight, I believe. So we can highlight certain pieces of it. Okay, and you can bookmark, you can resize, etc., etc. You can kind of browse around the book with using the table of contents. Okay, what else we got here? Grade book. Hopefully that's obvious. Your grades will show up there. Tools for success. Explore these. I'm just kind of giving you an overview. You've got interactive math games, reviews, graphing calculator. When we get to the calculator resources, there are some pretty good graphing calculator tutorials here. I definitely recommend going through those. If you have a question, particularly on the calculator on how to do something, many students find it convenient just to YouTube it. You know, how do I graph a line? And you go to YouTube, type that in, and there's probably a pretty good explanation of how to do that. Sometimes you're overwhelmed by the number of choices, and they can be a little bit longer, so certainly tap into your instructor if you don't want to go that route. Discussion board. Many instructors are going to require that you post a bio of some sort at the very least. You can post bios up here, or just look to see what your instructor is going to require you to put in. Course tools you will have available for email and, depending on your instructor, for chat, class live, and document sharing. And that is an overview of the course. Again, contact your instructor. It is best and appropriate to use your MTSU email account to email all correspondence with your instructor. So if you email from a Yahoo or Gmail account, you may not get a response, or you may get a response that says check your MTSU email address. Okay, there's a push on campus to use our MTSU email for all correspondence. So really make sure when you register in Course Compass that you use your MTSU email address. You can always forward this to another email address if you need to. If you use a mobile device, I highly recommend that you forward your email from the MTSU to your mobile device, your iPhone or your Android system. The emails that are sent out, when instructors send out an announcement, that will be basically sent out to email many times. So make sure that, and they're important, so make sure that you are getting those and that you respond in kind to that. If you have any questions, contact your instructor immediately through your MTSU email address, and that's it. Look forward to working with you in the course.